listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show on 81215 this morning. Yes, you can. You can follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio or email the show via the Absolute Radio website. Those are your options. Please choose one.
You did seem to struggle to wonder which Alan you'd booked for the show there today.
Certainly not. I'm just trying to give it a bit of vim.
Partridge.
You got to be careful when you do the same. Who else could it have been?
Which other Alan?
Alan,
8, 12, 15.
Alan Ladd, who played Shane.
Titchmarsh.
Alan Ladd, I think, was one of those people who used to do his scenes on a box or with the other people in a trench, because he was a good-looking, bulky-looking, strong man, but short.
Oh,
okay.
There you go, Alan Ladd.
Anecdotes.
Yeah, an expose of Alan Ladd early on.
We'll keep those Alan Ladd anecdotes coming all morning.
Cheryl Ladd do you remember her?
Yes, was she the
Charlie's Angel? She was his, I think,
daughter-in-law, maybe.
Oh. I think she looked like him.
Oh, okay.
Oh. She was laddish.
Was she a new lad?
She was one of the new lads.
Yeah.
Weren't we all? I was the king, of course.
You were.
Hey. They've got this Spice Girls reunion. Does that mean there's new lads reunion?
That'll never come back.
It won't be allowed in the current climate.
Okay.
No, I'm afraid it's the one popular culture phenomenon that has been unforgiven.
Oh, yeah.
I saw a series of black and white photos in something like the Sunday Telegraph magazine about skinheads.
Uh-huh.
Now, I know skinheads, have got a certain heroic, but they were quite a violent subculture in aspects, which the new lads never were.
No.
It was Elizabeth Hurley in a negligee, but there's also lots of great writing about
films.
I
like James Sims in a Carry On film.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, it's all gone now.
Yeah,
gone but not forgotten today on Absolute.
No, completely forgotten.
Airbrushed from history.
Yeah, I think people have forgotten the good bits.
I sometimes do a troll.
When your Donna Air's in the paper, maybe.
Donna Air and the Spice Girls.
Donna Air, the Spice Girls, surely.
We've reached
fantasy football beyond
We've reached peak 90s this weekend.
Yeah, it is. It's gone extremely 90s. If you're listening to this, by the way, on Absolute 90s, you'll probably think, what's new? True, but have a good time, guys.
I often
they must love me on Absolute. I can't believe I'm on Absolute 90s.
They just
people are listening thinking, how did we get him?
What a booking.
He's massive. He's absolutely massive. He's got about 5 series on the telly. People on the 80s are saying, was a club comedian got a job as... And then people listening to this are saying, is he still alive? So I'm covering all the decades.
You are.
What else? I'm 36, in case before you ask.
You're 36?
No, I got 36 cards for my birthday.
Wow.
Did you?
That's how you judge the measure of a man, how many birthday cards they get.
Don't say that. No, I don't believe that.
I love that you counted them.
Oh, God, I'll say.
I'm just imagining you sitting there going 7, 8.
Well, I was thinking
9.
34, and then I had 3 latecomers on Monday. And
can I ask a question, please? Did you gather them all together as an activity and consciously say, I'm going to count my cards?
No, they were all on display, and I sat back and I counted them with a long... those sort of pointy sticks they use in 1950s lectures?
Yeah.
I used one of those. Yeah. There was one, I just tweaked the badge on it.
Oh, yeah.
You get a 61 today badge.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is very handy on the buses.
Yeah.
Get a lot of people standing up for you.
You did.
And A&E, I jumped 3 places. That badge on.
You did mention to me last week that you take a note of the birthday cards that you get. You make sort of a little mental calculation of your popularity. And I remember looking at you quizzically.
Yeah.
As if, do you?
Doesn't everyone? If you didn't get any, wouldn't you be a bit gutted?
I think if I got somewhere between 3 and 50, I would feel exactly the same. I don't think.
I would imagine.
but that didn't answer my question.
No,
if you got less than 3, you'd be gutted.
Yeah, probably. If I got 0,
it's all about scales. That's what I was telling my anaconda last night.
I thought that was going to be music teacher.
We were talking about a moisturiser, and that just cropped up anyway. Yeah. Sorry, you were saying...
No, I was just going to say, I would expect to get the majority of my birthday greetings via a sort of digital means, I'm afraid, these
days.
I
certainly don't count those.
Okay. I'm glad I sent the text.
Those are those that couldn't be bothered as far as I'm concerned. But the card, you sent me a card.
I did the text as a follow-up, just so you know I care.
Oh, I don't mind a follow-up text, but I don't mind as well, but not instead. That's my motto on so many areas.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Daisy, my producer, just gave me another Alan Ladd fact during that.
Yeah.
That Alan Johnson, the former deputy leader, was he of the Labour Party at one point?
He got quite high up at one point.
He was named after Alan Ladd. What about that?
Good fact.
Cheryl Ladd, who I mentioned earlier, also named after Alan Ladd.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, we were all named after Alan Ladd.
Yeah.
Chronologically speaking.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's...
Well, Nugget has been in touch with his personal favourite Alan.
Oh, yeah.
Other than Lecoq, is Alanis Morissette.
Oh, Alanis Morissette.
And he started a hashtag #FaveAl.
Oh. Yeah, I think the trouble is what's happened there with Nugget is...
With Nugget?
He's gone into the development before he's established the default.
Right.
See, what you need is like 6 or 7 Allens, and then an Alan has been like a move forward.
Subvert the humour.
But you've got to build. Otherwise, suddenly you're not on a concrete stairway anymore. You're on a rope ladder.
He's subverted very early doors.
Too early. Too early.
You don't have
the second episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer is a musical. That has to come way down the line.
Much later.
Come on. So, yes, I had a fabulous birthday. 36 cards. Did I mention?
36.
36. And there might be more on the way. Who knows? Might be one. Always liable to be one down the back of the piano. I always think.
So what did you do for your birthday?
No, I got dumped by someone when I was a young man, but they didn't dump me. They just didn't contact me anymore. And
I believe it's called ghosting.
I believe that's called ghosting now.
Oh, well, yeah, now it was. Then it was called being dumped but not being told. And I actually moved. We had an upright piano quite near the front door. I actually remember wrenching it away from the wall, thinking that a letter might have come and bounced behind the piano. It's the most tragic thing. It's a bit like, I think, in Far From the Madding Crowd. Does a letter go underneath
under a rug,
under the rug, and that changed the person's whole life? It doesn't really happen with emails.
No.
But there's at least one person listening to this who has sent an email that would have changed someone's life, and it hasn't. It's gone into.
I thought you were going to say, I bet there's at least one person listening to this that has read Thomas Hardy's The Far From
No, I bet there's loads. Please don't text in.
What about when Frank sung Somebody Stole My Gal? Oh.
I know it was yes. So anyway,
speaking.
So I Kath, one of the presents that Kath, my partner, got me was that she got me a membership of the English Companions.
Oh,
good.
What?
Well, yes, what are they?
It's a right-wing organisation. No, it isn't. It's
are they people that come
what if it was, though, and I just casually mentioned it, like not knowing that was a big deal.
And also, we were too embarrassed to admit we didn't know what it was, so we went, lovely.
I think even people on the left listening would have thought, they'd been so charmed by the fact that I'd done it naively, they'd have forgiven me for being a member of a right-wing organisation. But anyway, it's not. It's actually the Anglo-Saxon History Society.
Oh,
that's lovely.
Which a weird thing happened to, I think I've mentioned this before, last year I suddenly got utterly fascinated by Anglo-Saxon history.
Did you?
Yeah. So I get a quarterly magazine called Bindweed.
That sounds good.
Guess what?
Is it really called
You're
that?
pulling our leg again.
No, I'm not. I'm not. Honestly, it is called that. And I got the first one in sort of
here we go.
photocopy form.
There we go, Al.
Uh-huh.
Brilliant.
We're
Yeah.
waiting.
What?
Is that just the truth?
I think Emily thinks there's a
I was
punchline
waiting.
coming.
No, that's the name of their magazine, Bindweed.
It just sounds quite cat weaselly.
Yeah, well, I
Google it.
suppose. Yeah, he was late medieval, I think.
Yeah.
Weasel, was he? I think.
Oh, I'm
Can't
pleased.
remember.
That's a good gift for you, though, Frank.
Yeah, and
you love things like that.
I guess what my membership number is of the Anglos,
Ooh.
English Companions, Anglo-Saxon
007.
History Group.
Oh.
89.
Is it?
Yeah, it's good. I like that though. Maybe they've started again. They got
Yeah,
through
they
so
probably
many.
went right through the numbers, began again at 0.
It's
So will you meet up with your companions?
well, I'm thinking there'll be talks.
Oh, that'd be nice.
I mean,
for you.
I'm not joined as my stage name. I'm joined as
I
Christopher
see.
Collins, my birth name. So they won't.
Well,
you
now
know.
they know the 80.
They
the
won't be
80
listening to
They
this.
won't
You
be
think
listening to
The 88. The 88 will
The
be listening.
88 won't be listening to this.
88.
Yeah, they won't be listening. They won't be. They'll be brushing dust off a
hardback.
coin
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
somewhere. But no, the great thing about Anglo-Saxon history, can I tell you this, is that
Please do.
nobody really knows any.
Yeah.
So
the
I feel
88 do.
it's a bit of you're on a bit of a level playing field. I mean, they know more than I do, obviously, but it's a bit mysterious, the whole,
It's all
especially
speculation.
early
Yeah.
Anglo-Saxons. It's a bit like fainting.
Right.
Yeah. Does it exist, or is it a conscious decision to suddenly lie down? I don't think anybody really knows. People have said to me, "Oh yeah, I fainted. I couldn't," and they said I couldn't help it. I just fainted. I said, "Really? They said I just fainted. I just went." I said, "Was there any point at all when you thought maybe I don't have to fight if I could fight it?" And they said, "Yeah."
Any doctors, please text in on 81215.
Yeah, we won't be able to read the writing.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Frank, we've had our first correzione of the
Oh,
the
okay.
year, certainly the morning.
I would say the morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'll give you a. That's terrible. I'm always waiting for a big crowd to come in singing it, as if
Aren't we all dear?
as if you could, yeah. But,
Helen has been in touch to say the letter under the rug was from Tess of the D'Urbervilles. Unless Thomas Hardy used the same plot device twice, I wouldn't put it past him.
when he was on tour, he might have done.
You might have.
Mix it up a bit.
To be fair, did I say it was in Far From the Madding Crowd, or did I say I think it was Far From the Madding Crowd?
Ooh.
Okay.
But
Oh dear.
Can we check the tape?
I don't know. But
Nope.
but
Playback.
thanks for
We're
letting
not
us.
having Hawkeye.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not doing Hawkeye. What's the football one called that they're
Oh,
all
I
jumping
can't.
up?
Frank,
and
it's
down
like
about?
in Big Brother when they say, "I never said that. I did not say that."
Yeah, and then it's
I think
Wow.
they ever say check the tape.
Well, no, I'm happy to have been wrong about that. But thanks for letting us know, Helen. That's Tess the D'Urbervilles. I don't know if I've read that.
Oh, well, I know that better than Far From the
Yeah.
Madding
Well,
Crowd, so I think I would.
which Thomas Hardy novel do you know best? 8, 12, 15.
Well, I think
2 on a tail. What's the chances?
I think she might be
No,
right.
I'm
there. I
going
think
Mayor
it
of
might be
Casterbridge.
No, she might well
Oh,
be
yeah.
right.
Yeah, I'm going Casterbridge. Sorry,
I
love.
might have got mixed up with the Valentine's card to Farmer Boldwood.
Oh, right.
Anyway.
Have we dropped off air now? Discussing literature, so.
I think that someone downstairs has just slowly turned us down. and
3 balls
and
in a
played
pub.
some Kings of Leon.
Raise your hands by is it Reef?
Oh, I went to
But you
the,
don't often get a Casterbridge reference on
No,
commercial
true.
radio.
No.
Go on, Frank.
I
You
don't,
went well.
it might be the first ever plug for Bindweed magazine. So I think that's possible. I went to the British Museum. That must have been mentioned before.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Room 41, which is where the Sutton Hoo burial stuff is. You know, that's another Anglo-Saxon.
Oh, okay.
Possibly
Change
king.
for you to be in room 41.
Hey,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
normally...
We know where you are.
Yes, possibly King Radwald of East Anglia.
I was
but
gonna
then
say.
again, we don't really know.
It's all guesswork.
Again, we
innit?
don't know.
It's all guesswork.
Love it.
What was his name? Radwell.
Didn't you think it was facts that made history hard work at
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I would recommend it. You must have seen the helmet, pictures of the helmet. It's an amazing...
Oh, yes, yeah.
And, the great buckle.
There's a great buckle.
Sparkles. Absolutely
It sparkles.
Yeah.
What's the great buckle? That was Elvis, wasn't it?
Uh-huh.
He liked a big buckle.
The great buckle was when my knees went walking back from Barbarella's after 17 pints of lager in 1982. It would have been earlier than that. Actually. I think Barbarella's was shut then before we had a correzione on that from some Birmingham nightclub historian. Imagine that.
Maybe.
So a good time at the British Museum, and then on to Cinderella Rockefellers.
Pardon?
Then on to Cinderella Rockefellers for the evening.
What's that?
That was a night spot.
Oh, was it?
Where the youth like to go.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Named
South
after
London, I believe. I think it might have closed
named
now.
after the Eastern Abbey of Farim single. Yeah?
I don't know. I'm learning loads this morning.
Wasn't
knowledge.
that you're my Cinderella, you're my Rockefeller. Ooh. Come with me.
I like it. I like
Will you come with me?
the Jacob Marley at the end of it as well.
Yeah, I'm throwing them all in. So yeah, I got a picture of me with the helmet.
Did you?
And the way I've took it...
You're
it
allowed
looked,
to do that?
I think you're allowed. There was people with cameras there.
Right.
And the way I've took it, it looks like I've been photobombed by the helmet.
Oh, that's good.
The helmet just in the background looking over, doing one of those faces that helmets do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Bit visory.
Oh, yeah.
It was in an advisory capacity. Ooh, lovely. I felt that tickle on the way out.
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
We've heard from the outside world.
Oh,
just
yes.
to let you know that it's coming in. I don't want you to get paranoid that we're...
Well, sometimes I think it must be a technical
I
fault.
thought that literary chat might have made us drop off air, but I'm checking the texts are still rolling in, so we haven't...
It's fine. We've always got the 88 as well now.
It wasn't too bad. We mentioned
good.
Elizabeth Hurley.
895 has texted, a friend used to date a girl called Tessa who worked in catering. Much to her annoyance, he christened her Tess of the Burger Grills. It's fine work.
Absolutely excellent, yes.
And we've also had 106 has texted, Cinderella Rockefeller was in Guildford, closed after fire/fight or something like that.
Yeah, but
Oh, yeah.
Like miscellaneous.
yeah, exactly.
Fire/fight.
That thing about
I don't know what the insurance company would think of that. It's a bit non-specific.
Test the Burger Grill. So I had a mate who batted well above his average with this girlfriend, and she was called Alison Piers. And she's pretty, but she had very sticking out. She had those ears that really stick out, at the side.
Oh,
FA Cup ears.
But she had that sort of 60s, beautiful hippie girl type feel to us. Anyway, so we were on holiday, me and him together in a caravan. There was 5 young men. Was in our teens.
Well, that must have smelt nice.
Yeah, and he sent her a postcard, and he put it Miss A. Piers. He wrote on the thing, and then unable to resist it, Miss A. Piers, and then he put in brackets after Ape Ears. And she finished with him. I like the fact he sacrificed probably the best looking woman he'd ever been out with, and almost certainly he'd ever likely to go out with for that pun.
For a pun.
In parentheses as well.
I bet you were thinking respect.
I mean,
Respectamundo was probably first coined then.
My kingdom for a pun.
Apparently she was heavily pressured by the parents who saw it.
Oh,
When they saw
To get rid of him. There could be no future in a man who couldn't resist the APs.
Right.
Pun. So here's an interesting gift I got for my birthday. My brother-in-law bought me 5 copies of The Vinegar Girl by Anne Tyler.
Oh.
Do you know it?
No. Has it got different covers? Is it one of those? Oh.
What? Exactly the same.
All
Is
same.
the idea that you have to give 4 of
Yeah,
them to
what's
people
the
that you think
idea?
will like it when you've read it?
The idea is that me and him and Kath and Rachel and Sandy Mason,
Yeah.
the sort of nuclear
Yeah.
The gang.
that we start a book club.
Oh, that's
Oh,
nice,
I love
isn't
that
it?
It's
idea.
a clever idea, isn't
I
it?
like that.
Very clever.
You went
so
a bit Yoda then, you know that?
yeah,
It's a clever idea, isn't it?
that's all right. I don't know what would Yoda say. A clever idea it is.
I wouldn't say idea clever.
He's not.
isn't
He's
it?
not in the book club. Can I say?
No.
Although
Too
what,
fast to read,
what
isn't it?
would Yoda say is obviously my life motto.
Yeah, that would be. I used to have one of those. What would Jesus do? Key rings.
Did you?
What would Yoda say? Would be
Yeah.
a good one. Yeah, he flew in the face of syntax.
Yeah.
Didn't care.
Highly inarticulate.
Yeah. Tess of the D'Urbervilles it was. That's the text we'd have got from Yoda.
I love the book club, Frank.
Because
What a great
I
idea.
mentioned to you before that Yoda has got the walking stick in the films. You know, he's
Right.
got the walking stick.
Yeah.
Yes.
Something that troubles me about Yoda. And then if there's a fight, say, with another, like with, Darth Vader or Dooku or something like
Right.
that.
That what?
Yeah. Suddenly he's doing triple somersaults
Right.
and all that. He's a benefits cheat. Clearly, Yoda is claiming the disability benefit.
Yeah. I've gone off him a
It
bit.
doesn't put me off him. It's all right, I'll believe
Pictures
this.
of him on holiday
Yeah.
in the paper. I've seen them.
You can just imagine him at the office, eh? Total mistake it was.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We've had a message from Simon, a regular texter. He's the Cotswolds art dealer. That,
Oh.
Oh,
pops
yes,
as
he's
a
one of
missive.
my regulars, actually.
Yeah. He said, morning all, Frank's newfound love of Anglo-Saxon history, which I'm sure we'll continue to discuss. I'd like to know what spawned this newfound love. He then says, I assume Frank wears his leather crown when visiting the Sutton Hoo hoard.
I didn't do that.
Opportunity missed.
Yeah, I would have felt a little uneasy about it, to be honest. Would they let you in to the British Museum in a leather
I
crown?
think they might think that you're coming to reclaim some of your stuff
Yeah.
from
Well,
the
I
past.
think
That'd be awkward.
You normally wear that when you're with some of your other friends,
Well,
if you know what I mean.
yeah, that'd be different.
Yeah.
So, yes, I'm now a member not only of the English Companions, but also a book club, my first ever book club,
Lovely.
which is... and I started reading The Vinegar Girl by Anne Tyler, female protagonist, and Sunshine in the first chapter. It's a new world for me.
Oh, wow.
Are you going to be competitive with Kath, though, about who's got furthest down the line?
Oh, yeah.
I think it'd be more wanting to be the most impressive at the seminar.
Yeah, I was...
Seminar.
Are you reading it holding a pencil and furiously
Oh, yeah.
scribbling marginalia?
Yeah, I
are you?
think there's an
'Cause you know you're
obligation
gonna
if you're in a
discuss
book
it.
club
Yeah,
not
of
to
course.
just read it and then hope you remember some interesting
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
You got to bring stuff to the feast.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're creating a lot of
I
work
said
for
in
yourself.
Beowulf. Yeah. Well, I mean, I thought it was a great,
You're a busy man.
great idea for a present. Oh, by the way, I did the one show on Wednesday. Just the one show.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
And,
I caught some of it.
Quiet day for you.
And
And can I say, there were a lot of comments about how fabulous you looked on the old clothes front.
really?
Yes.
What are you wearing?
Well, I noticed
Just,
there was,
just,
leather
a,
crown,
just a
that's
pyjama
it.
jacket.
Yeah.
he looked absolutely stunning. He had a lovely shirt, very stylish.
Oh,
And I
wow.
spotted a stripy sock, and I wondered if there was some bamboo action going
The
on
one,
there.
well, I don't.
excellent.
It was one of the well, it was two of the socks actually that you bought me for my birthday. So yeah,
There you go.
not only
Good.
that, but what
Yeah.
about this? I
Here's
got
the
out
big 'un.
at one point. I got out the my toothpick holder that you bought me for my birthday.
I'm
It's
relaxed.
already been on television.
Is
Yeah.
it really?
Yeah.
I love seeing a present getting such early usage.
Oh yeah. And I said to them, I carry this with me all the time. I didn't mention I'd only had it 4 days.
Yeah, but I like the idea of one show viewers thinking you went out and into a shop and said, hello, I'd like an engraved toothpick holder, please.
Yeah. I know. I told them it was a gift.
Yes.
I tell you, I love I love the one show. What I love about it is its one showness. It's unashamedly one show, and it's like they said to me, we just want to do a bit of a thing before we said we got Gordon Buchanan, the animal cameraman. He's not an animal, he's a film. It's not like Animal Hospital when I turn it on thinking there'd be animals doing operations with excitement, you know, scalpel sellotape to a Alsatian's foot, and there's people. Rubbish. Anyway, they said Gordon Buchanan's got animals with cameras on their heads. So can we put this camera on your head? We want a suggestion that we see what you see, and then people guess who you are.
Lovely. So you said goodbye to your dignity.
Yeah, so I was happy with that. I was a bit worried about the hair, but to hell with it. So I put this thing on, and they said, and we just want you to look. This is your your table in the dressing room. We just want you to look at it. And I said, OK, I'll look at the table. I said, can you look at this? And what was on my table, casually laid out in my dressing room, was a lever, like I would pull on Room 101.
Oh, yeah.
A portrait, a West Bromwich Albion monk, and a book, which I turned over to reveal the title, Best Brommy Jokes. Those were the clues. And Brommy was spelt B-R-U-M-M-Y. Which I was not happy with, unless that was a joke.
It's not a great one.
Was it up there with ape ears?
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show on 81215, follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, email the show via the Absolute Radio website. What was that text number again? It was 81215, Governor.
Frank, we've had a Whatever Happened To.
Oh, yeah.
I want to see what you think of this. This is from Dave Mutton. He says, morning, Frank, Emily and Al. Just got back from a trip to Australia and have a Whatever Happened To for you. See picture, which obviously the readers can't see, but
I can't.
I will describe it.
Or me.
No, but hold your high horses. I'm getting there.
Are you going to do a pen picture?
I'll be your eyes. See picture of small plastic tag to reseal bread.
Oh, yeah.
Has that gone?
Yes. The hard tags. I mean, you tend to get more like a sellotapey effect now, would you not say?
Yes, I
the hard
that
yellow
is true.
tags. I feel you're somewhat reluctant.
I don't. I think they might still be. You see, I'm a big fan of the corn cake, which still does the hard tab. So maybe I'm getting a bit.
Okay.
Do they still do the hard tab on that? I don't eat that much bread, and when I do, it's from the deli, so it comes in a paper bag.
Okay. Well,
I don't think it. I'm
Dave,
not sure it qualifies
I had
for the whatever
enthusiasm for you.
Oh.
They're not mutton fans here. What can I tell you?
I think didn't I meet him at a fancy dress party where he was dressed as former England batsman Alan Lamb.
Oh, well done. You didn't go George either. You went Alan.
No, Alan. Exactly.
Another Alan.
That was when Alan Lamb toured with Ian Botham, one of those, Q&A nights,
yeah.
and it was called Beef and Lamb in a Stew.
Oh, that's nice.
I mean, who would have that?
But that was a PC evening. I would like to talk now, Frank, about Melania, First Lady.
Can I tell you one thing that happened to me on the One Show?
Please do.
When you do any kind of chat show type thing on the telly, you have a researcher phone you up and say, just like, what have you been up to and stuff like that, just to get an idea of what to talk to you about.
A few days before, yeah.
Yeah. And a very nice woman phoned me up and was asking me stuff, and she was talking about the show I do on Sky Arts, Portrait Artist of the Year, which is on at the moment.
Yeah.
And she said, if you could paint anyone, a portrait of anyone, who would it be? And I said, I think Pope Francis. And she said, oh, really? That's unusual. I said, is it that unusual? She said, yeah. Pocahontas. And I said, no. How could I possibly paint Pocahontas? She did exist, I think, but I'm sure she's no longer with us. She was real, was she, I think?
She was based on a real person, I believe.
So.
I think she was sort of toured as an exhibit of the Native American.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think it's quite as that pleasant a story.
Yeah.
But I can't. I mean, what's the
Disney one's
chances of
off and
getting her in for
She'd be an incredible booking, I would say.
And also, the composition to include the feather.
Yeah.
When
I mean,
you
difficult.
corrected her and said, no, I said to Pope Francis.
She moved on.
Oh, did she?
Did she?
I think
She didn't say, we'll try and get him.
we don't have that kind of controversy on the one show. I'll tell you what was great. There was a man who was he was a member of the Dentists Society.
I saw that bit because you made a great joke, Frank.
Did you?
God bless you. And
Go on, do your joke.
Frank, do your joke. I loved it.
Joke.
That was a Christmas cracker joke. The one I said, I love this guy. I'm an Extractor fan.
Oh,
come on.
But I showed him my toothpick sting. Obviously, he's the head of the dental.
Of course you would.
Or other.
Imagine how excited I was about seeing this.
yeah.
And they said to him, "Would you approve of that?" And he said, "Yeah, that's great." And I don't think you're actually supposed to use cocktail sticks. That they discourage it.
Oh, is
as
that what you've got in there?
Yeah.
But he was showbiz, which I liked.
But he went with it, which is great, even though he flew in the face of all dental. I was gonna, for a second, I considered my underpants story. You know, my dentist underpants story. But I thought the one show.
Do I know that one? I don't know if we know that one.
I can't remember the dentist underpants story.
Okay.
Are you just considering whether to tell it?
Yeah.
Is it suitable for
Well, why
television?
didn't you have a little think, and then we could come back to
Her
that?
boss says that to me. I'm just going to have a little thing. I love the idea of a little thing. It's not... I'll tell you what happened, shall I?
Yeah.
Okay, I went... The first time I ever went to the dentist, I had 6 teeth out.
Oof. Wow.
And the second time, I had 6 teeth out.
What?
And the third time, I had 4 teeth out. In those days in Birmingham, the fillings was seen as, a bit foppish.
Unnecessary.
Well, how did you eat?
Soup, man.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, on one of the occasions, they give you the general anaesthetic.
Right.
So
Local.
No, general. So
Like
knock
proper out.
you out.
Oh, okay.
And when
many teeth out.
And that night, and I swear to you this is true, that night, when I went to bed, my underpants were on back to front. Now, the chances are, obviously, that I just put them on back to front that morning, but I have never put them back to front on before or since. You can see why I was reluctant to tell it on the one show.
Yeah.
And maybe breakfast radio isn't the right place for it. But it's a mystery. It's a bit like the Anglo-Saxon history thing. We don't really know the details. But it's nagged at me for many a long year. Anyway, can you get me a car?
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
Now, before the rather marvellous but somewhat disturbing underpants story, I was talking to you about First Lady Melania. And there was an incident which you may well recall on Inauguration Day.
Oh,
big day
yes.
for everyone. The official handover photos outside the White House.
Big crowd. Biggest crowd ever.
Tremendous. This crowd was tremendous.
That was the day.
And Melania did a bit of an unusual, extraordinary thing. She handed Michelle Obama a large Tiffany box with a bow on it.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's always kind of speculated. It was very strange, the whole thing. And Michelle Obama has finally spoken about it on Ellen, I think. And she said it was a bit orcs. Those weren't her exact words. But she said there's all this protocol, and what am I supposed to do with this gift? Because you can't have a branded Tiffany box.
Oh, is that what the problem is?
Well, you can't have the official presidential photos holding a big Tiffany box.
I've always found this a strange story because I never realised what the problem was.
Oh, it was the branding that was the problem.
I've always thought, well, who cares about the protocol? What you do is you open it, you go, oh, thanks very much, and then you just
don't. Listen, have you ever seen any presidential handover photos? Is anyone holding an Amazon box with John Lewis plastic bag with some Ferrero Rocher in it? No.
But surely
one would hope it would be an Amazon Prime box at that level of society.
Make it look like it was a bit last minute when they finally thought to get a present.
I mean, in the same way that you don't even turn up to a wedding holding a gift.
Oh.
Yeah.
You can't turn up to an
It's a bit
inauguration with a
what
gift.
about Anthea Turner?
Nobody told
Do you
me.
remember when they had the chocolate bars at their...
Yeah.
Well, I hadn't picked up. You know, I read this story and I remember the incident at the time. And I'm with Al. This is a bit of a idiotic eureka moment.
Yes.
I didn't get it was the brand. I thought it was where do I put this?
Yeah, I just
Well,
thought...
there was an element of where do I put this, but I think she's sort of trained enough to realise that it's quite distinctive and recognisable, the Tiffany branding.
If she's that trained, she should have a roll of gaffer tape hanging off her belt, which she can just go straight over the branding with, like they do on telly if you're
North
wearing.
Face, yeah.
Apart from North Face, which is all over the news.
She did say she found. She said that her husband saved the day, and I did. Have you seen the footage? I did like it where he dealt with it. It was just a human being being very decisive, which was very attractive.
Was it like Batman getting rid of
Yes.
the bomb in the 1966 movie when he just running around looking somewhere to throw it where it wouldn't damage
And he
anyone.
decides against the water, doesn't he?
Oh, he does about 9. There's like a 5-minute sequence where Batman runs around with a sizzling bomb in his hands.
He says, "Let me just put this inside." He's he's fantastic. He deals with it so well.
And people were giving him stick in the street about running around with a bomb. And I don't know, but I wouldn't Barack Obama.
Very good.
Lovely.
Anyway.
That's up there with Extractor. That.
I
can't
feel
turn up at the
sorry
White House
for
with a
Melania in
present.
all
Come
this.
on.
She bought a present and Michelle didn't bring a present.
I carried
and
a
Melania
watermelon.
gets the stick.
Yeah.
You don't turn up. I carried a watermelon, I said. You don't turn up to the White House with a plazzy bag.
What is I carried a watermelon?
It's from Dirty Dancing. You'll love it. It's a great movie.
Yeah. It's one. I think
That's
it's one for the
so
ladies. Isn't it? Is it one for the ladies?
Yeah. I've had the time of my life. Hello.
It's a good film, though, to be fair.
I might watch that with you.
Yeah.
Anyway, she revealed what was inside it as well. She said a lovely frame. Now, come on, you must be with me on this. Who gives a frame without a picture in it?
Oh, I've had a couple of empty frames.
Give me a heart murmur there. Who gives a frame?
Yeah.
That's the new shut the front
Thought
door.
you forgot
Yeah.
we were on the radio.
I don't give a frame. but Melania will never be able to say that because people say, well, actually, you did give a frame. She go, well, I didn't mean that. I obviously was being a little...
Charles Aznavour.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how Melania speaks. I'm not sure I've ever heard her speak.
Transylvanian today.
She's...
Although
much
I've just done the
French.
thing that I hate people doing, Frank.
Oh, yeah.
Which is critiquing or commenting
Yeah,
on
yeah.
someone's accent. I'm really sorry about
Absolutely.
that.
It's fine.
It's
In this
a
instance, I think.
feeble-minded thing to do.
If she'd been a bit nicer to Melania and if she'd opened the gift there and then, she could have done the pictures looking through the frame.
Oh, yeah.
Which would have been great, because then if you were a fan of Michelle, you could cut that out and you've got a little frame picture of her. You could take the other people off it.
yeah.
That wasn't thought through. I
Yeah.
wondered if it's had one of those frame filler photos in it. You know, when you get you get a photo of an unnamed person that's in the frame to give you a sort of helpful idea of what one might want to do with the frame.
Yeah.
Maybe put a picture of a person in it. Possibly.
4 pebbles. Is that another thing they use?
I felt sorry for her when he just
so.
walked
Oh,
ahead,
yeah.
though. I was reminded again of that horrific moment.
Oh, yeah, when he forgot he had a wife. Just wandered off, leaving her.
What else could...
Awful.
what's the strangest thing you've ever had framed at 12:15? I'd like to... I've got a framed letter from Johnny Ray, the 1950s singer, to a fan... explaining away a sexual scandal he's been involved in.
Have you?
That's framed.
Lovely. Well, Frank, I like framing a
that.
letter. Well, I
Are we
can.
gonna have
I've
this
got a
run?
framed letter, I believe I've said this before, and you know this. I've got a framed letter from Arthur Miller.
Wow.
From you?
Yes.
To you?
Yes.
Wow.
On Gucci notepaper.
That's fantastic.
It was on
Thank you.
Gucci notebook. I never
What
knew
does
that
it,
detail.
what does it
That's
say? Stop
lovely.
bothering me. Now, that's brilliant.
I mean, it's a short note, but it's lovely to have it. He just
Excellent.
discusses, it's the weather largely. But I was so happy to have it.
I've got a letter from Alan Bennett where, for some reason, I must have had a mental breakdown.
Yes.
I wrote to him in the 90s.
So I just want to. Can I just get my body sorted to cringe? At
Yeah.
this?
Oh, yeah.
Asking if he'd like to co-write a play with me. he was so sweet about it. He said no, but in the nicest. Well, obviously he said no, in the nicest, sweetest possible
Brilliant.
way. God bless him. Thank you very much. Cheers, Alan.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Hey, Frank, I don't know if you've done this on purpose, but you seemingly have began a texting, which could become a feature of the show.
Strangest thing you framed.
I'd like to call it "You've Had Framed."
No more Roger Rabbit jokes, please.
Well, we've had a bit of that. I framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
Oh, that I say.
But we've also had.
I thought that sounded like a confession.
We've had some other bits and bobs. 857. Hi Frank. The strangest thing I've ever framed was the bones of a customer's cat, which had passed away years ago. That's from Lee from 90 Degrees Picture Framing.
Wow.
He's probably seen a lot of other framing.
He will have been born in the 70s.
He's got some stories.
70s, namely.
A friend of mine sent away for some framed bats, like stuffed bats on the front
was
door.
this?
There.
David Baddiel?
I think we've got a bug in the house. We've got some kind of odd, rare bug framed somewhere.
But this arrived broken in the thing, so the bats were exposed, and they put it on the table. And the flatmate's cat ate both the bats. They were probably stuffed in the 19th century.
Right.
Ate both the stuffed bats from the broken frame, and then disappeared, never came back ever again.
The cat did?
Cat gone, I'm afraid.
Oh, dear.
Sorry, guys, for that story, but it just came to me in a thing. I realise it's not all about fun.
That'd be a good
cheer us
book.
back
Dark
up.
and light, remember that?
Yes.
I like the idea of sorry guys for that story as a concept in your life.
Yeah. I've got to be careful. That could become my catchphrase on tour.
That's your next tour, Al.
Yeah.
Al, what about Alison Davis, who's got in touch, saying the strangest thing we have framed this week, yes, she works in a framers, is a picture of Quincy, MD.
Oh, Jack Klugman.
Do you remember?
Yeah, of course. Do I remember? No. I don't know where that Jack Klugman thing came.
Well, it says, she says, loving the show. She's at Bowland Picture Framers, and it's Jack, is it Klugman?
Yeah.
In a queue.
He's just standing in a queue.
Yeah. No, he's not standing in a queue, in the letter queue.
Oh, I see.
I see.
Like
I thought you meant he was queuing. Surely, as a coroner,
That
he'd
would
be
have
able to go
been
to the front.
a marvellous pun-based picture. But no, this is...
Oh, so it's Quincy in a queue, which is still a pun.
There you go. Yeah.
I wonder who... And is it signed or something?
No, I'm not sure. Perhaps you can furnish us with some more information.
I wrote to Peter Falk asking for his
You do a lot of letter writing, don't you, to celebrities?
Well, this is going back a bit because he's no longer with us. Yeah. And he sent back an autographed block capitals.
Did he?
I thought, come on. No need to shout.
Well, you remember my autograph story, Frank?
What was that?
To Emma Love F. Bruno.
Oh, yeah, that's all right. No,
okay.
I quite like F. Bruno.
548 has got some framed tins of tomato soup, ... Well, to be more precise, limited edition Heinz and Warhol Tommy soup, 4 tins in all.
Oh, I've got a couple of Warhol prints. Soup.
Nice.
That was an anagram of what I've got. You have to put it all together.
We'll do the syntax, Yoda.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Some soup tins I have. Just move along the queue, please. Yes, of course I'm available for work. So I went out of the Yoda syntax then, which spoilt it somewhat. But when we edit this, we don't edit it, you say.
I love that you gave yourself such an instant review.
No, I know. I think when you get it wrong, just put your hand up. That's what Rod Hole once said to me.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We've had an update on the Quincy photo.
We have Alison Davis at the Framers says it's not signed. This is incoming news, breaking as it happens.
February 27, 2018 has had a Quincy picture, not signed, framed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's got to be a bigger story.
Alison says it's not signed. She said, I think they just like it.
Maybe it's a gift for she knows someone who's a coroner or something like that, and it's for the next to the certificate in the office.
It Quincy hasn't been on TV for about 20 years.
I
has
should
he?
imagine, though, with was he a coroner? Is that what he was? He was that kind of thing. Wasn't
Yes,
he?
I believe so.
I think probably amongst coroners he's still a pin-up boy.
Jack Klugman.
Yeah, Klugman. Yeah, I think Jack Klugman was also in the TV version of The Odd Couple, replacing Walter Matthau. Yeah. Anyway, who cares about that?
Me.
What about? I'm so impressed about the branding thing on.
Yeah, it's good
What
news.
are you
isn't it?
impressed?
It's good to-
That's what it was all about.
Well, this is
you are the key to this story for me, Emily.
This is
Dean.
my assumption, I have to say.
No, it sounds exactly right.
But
yeah.
I would imagine, as the Tiffany branding is so, well, I'm going to go iconic.
Right.
It also explains. I once gave the Queen a bouquet of flowers. You know, you present them with a bouquet of flowers, but it was in a JD Sports bag.
Yeah.
And she just handed it over like immediately.
Yeah.
I thought it'd keep the soil off her clothes and stuff. But the Queen does that though. You get a small, beautiful little girl will turn up in a lovely moment. Now better they'll curtsy and give them flowers. They barely touch the glove. They're just passed on to the assistant.
Yeah.
I'm envious
rude,
of the
just a
Queen
bit
being able
rude.
to wear gloves. I want to wear those every day.
Why can't you wear
I don't
gloves?
like shaking hands.
No, but, yeah, that's why. Have I told you this? That I met a security guy who worked at the palace, and he said that they have a bonfire about once every 3 months when she burns a great big mound of gloves in the ground.
No.
Because
Really?
once they've touched the public hand,
They're not
they're
suitable.
regarded as not, yeah.
I mean, Annie QPR has been in touch, Frank Owl, to say, I have to say, both Quincy ME and Colombo are both on TV daily.
Oh, true enough.
Are they really? Good. Okay.
I don't know. No, I suppose she's just explaining why he might still be relevant.
Okay,
Right.
but I mean, I wouldn't have for example, a framed picture of Dog the Bounty Hunter on my wall, and he's still
Or
on
Jeremy
telly.
Kyle.
Yeah, well, actually, I've got one of Jeremy Kyle, but that is signed, which is different.
I wish you had that.
Very sweet as well. Sorry about the underpants. I think it was. Anyway, that was. At the time, wasn't there a brief point where the Trumps and the Obamas didn't? Trump say something like "a very nice people" or something like. There's a moment when there was almost a friendship between
rapprochement.
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because now he's a bit like, you know, when you get the builder come round and say, God, the last bloke's made a right mess.
Yes.
He's a bit like that now.
Yeah.
About what he calls the former administration.
Yeah.
But then I think he slightly melted a bit.
Just for a moment.
So that interview with Ellen,
Oh yes.
DeGeneres.
Yeah. She gets all the big
Yeah.
names.
well, it was part of her 60th birthday celebration. Two-parter she got for that. It's not exactly Radio Frank, is it? Which
Oh
is
yeah,
what-
you got the whole station
No.
for.
And
for a
also, she
day.
got Michelle Obama and she got Jennifer Aniston. Is Jennifer Aniston still worthy of her
Still relevant?
60th anniversary two-parter?
Oh yeah, she's a. Big
Is she
star.
still a massive
She's
star?
Big star.
Okay.
She does all right.
Yeah. I don't know. What's she been in of just lately? I saw her in an advert, and I always think that's the end, isn't it?
Oh,
She's on
yeah.
telly every day, Frank. She's on telly every day. On
In an
Friends.
advert?
She's like Quincy in that respect.
Yeah, in that
Yeah,
regard.
I know, but
Yeah.
I mean, imagine if I went into my local framers to get a Jennifer Aniston picture frame.
That would be weird.
That'd be on Twitter, wouldn't it?
Imagine
would
if
be
I
on
went in
Twitter.
very 90s, I'd get a top load
They
one.
think I'd opened the lady's hairstylist, and that was for
Yeah.
the window.
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
Well, it's not just Michelle Obama that's been in the news about gifting. It's Theresa May as well. She met the president
yes.
of China,
Yes.
and wait for
Oh,
it.
President 11.
Yes, she gave him a DVD in an act that I would say is possibly naive.
It was a
Unbelievable.
rather oddball gift. It was the Blue Planet 2.
I mean,
She had the, I don't call her
Oh,
Theresa May, I
gosh.
call her, what's her name, with the Jacob Marley necklace.
oh,
And
was
she
it?
loves that chain necklace.
Right.
I've never really noticed that.
Oh, I have.
I'm surprised it hasn't gone up on my S&M community chat room. Yes, it's the weirdest
DVD?
I think she knows about China and the DVDs. Do you think she's even ever equated the two as like a thing that could go together?
Well, not just that, but it's such a cheap...
What was she expecting him to say? We've never even heard of these. These look brilliant.
But it's such a cheap gift. I was at Lambeth Palace once, and the Archbishop of Canterbury gave me a bit of a tour of some of the things he'd been given. They were amazing, really remarkable, unique, thoughtful things. And this bloke gets stupid Blue Planet DVD.
Although
when you say this bloke, you mean Xi Jinping?
I mean President 11.
Yeah.
She would have paid full whack for it, presumably from the BBC website, and then she's taken it to China.
No, it said they were bootlegs. It said in the mail.
Well, it said
Colston Newcastle was the headline.
Exactly. Yeah.
It said.
I mean,
well, it was made worse by the fact that Emmanuel Macron gave the president a horse, not just any old horse, but a presidential cavalry horse called Vesuvius, which might be the most macho gift I've ever heard of in my life.
Used to be my nickname in my teens. It was. No, but there was, and also not only did she give him. Bear in mind, we're over there begging for
trade.
We've actually. She should have given him a bowl, which he's done. Knelt. She knelt next to him, holding. We are begging. We're saying we really do need somebody to trade with.
Yeah.
We're thirsty.
So you really want to win. You want to win him over. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what does she give him? Some DVDs of the stupid Blue Planet thing, but also a message from
Sir David
Attenborough, saying don't get putting plastic in the...
Yeah.
Well, also, it's kind of worse because haven't they just said they're not going to accept our plastic waste anymore?
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah, but DVDs are plastic.
They're in plastic wrappers.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I bet you, as we speak now, they are already coasters at the President's house. Mind you, at the President's house, probably so is Vesuvius.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
They were also given tea, Theresa May and her husband. They were given some lap song souchong.
Of course they were.
And, I mean...
Sang.
There's a couple of things here. Do you think there was any bit of her that was tempted to sip it and go and spray it right across the room?
Yeah.
Like, I think, honestly...
Find out it had just been drawn from Vesuvius.
I actually think almost everybody in my social circle would have been at least fleetingly tempted to spray
not if
it
you were
across the room.
begging for trade.
For a laugh. But
Not if you're as thirsty as girlfriend.
Yeah, I don't think she's up for a laugh.
Philip May apparently said...
Do you know Philip May?
No, but thanks for the tip.
Okay.
I don't think he would.
He may,
Philip,
that's what I'm saying.
He definitely won't. He said at the tea, when he was given the tea, he said, yes, we drink this at home in Downing Street. I don't believe that.
Well...
they might have had one
They're
tea
more
bag.
Ingbrek.
Yeah, I think if that happened, if he said, oh, we drink this, they could have had every right to go, well, we've got DVDs, actually.
Exactly. If they'd have given them Britannia. Have you seen Britannia on Sky? Oh, man.
It's not one of your strange shows.
Absolutely.
Hard Sun.
I've watched. You know what I've done? It came out, and it's also on demand. I couldn't wait.
I've
finished
on
it.
demand by you and the Anglo-Saxon.
What is it? Is it a documentary or is it a drama?
Not a documentary.
It's not.
Why do you watch these weird things?
Give me a big stare for asking if Britannia was a
No,
documentary.
it really isn't. There's quite a lot of sort of magic in it. And stuff.
Okay.
Of course there is.
All right.
Druids. Mackenzie Crook as the head druid.
Is Merlin in it?
Absolutely terrifying.
Does he?
Oh, we'll have to catch that.
I'd watch that.
It's like Late Night Merlin, is what it's like.
Is it?
On Merlin Nights.
Merlin After Dark.
Yeah,
Like Hollyoaks Nights.
Exactly, yeah. It's brilliant.
I'm going to give that a go, Frank. There you
Honestly,
go.
So when you say Merlin, what is it? Merlin in taverns with loose women?
It's about when the Romans. It's not Merlin's not in it. It's about when the Romans invaded Britain and they were
I love
confronted
that
by
period.
the Britons.
Yeah.
Right.
But they're bending the historical facts a bit.
Oh,
but,
well, be careful, because if you're getting into history and then you watch some made-up history, it can easily...
But say nobody knows. Actually, we know more about the Romans than we do about Anglo-Saxons.
Good point.
But it's great. If they'd given them that, the trade could have gone through the ceiling. So I've watched all 9 eps. I've gone and raced ahead.
So strange. Anyway, meanwhile, over in Beijing, it appears that they've got some names, the Chinese, for our Premier and her husband. She is called, Theresa May is called Auntie May.
Don't like it.
Do you not?
I'm going to say
it makes, do you know, Auntie May? No, but thanks for the tip, a bit darker.
Well, yes.
Also, I don't think that's how... I mean, it might be a compliment in...
she was thrilled.
In Chinese culture, but really, I think... Who calls their uncle or auntie by their surname? You know, you don't do that, do you? Their Uncle John
yes, you're right.
or Auntie,
I tell
probably
you, Al,
Yoda.
It sounds...
She should be Auntie Theresa.
I tell you what it sounds. It sounds a little bit Gone with the Wind.
I like Auntie Theresa, the less successful sister of Mother Theresa.
Exactly, that's why...
They're slightly less kind.
Yeah.
Slightly less
bit
benevolent.
Brassy, and swears a bit, smokes. Oh, dear.
Doesn't give quite so much money to charity. And her husband, Philip May, was described as a very handsome man.
Should have gone to Specsavers. That's my advice to the Chinese pundits.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We've on the subject of gift giving, we actually, our own little show has had an email about it. Morning, Frank, Alan and Emily, from a long-time reader but first-time writer. I thought he was joking for a while, but Big Daddy's, that's you, continued reference to bamboo as them, combined with his insistence that any mention of bamboo is not a plea for them to send freebies, leads me to believe that Frank still believes bamboo to be a brand of hosiery rather than simply a bamboo fibre-based material that socks and underwear in general of any brand can be made from.
Can I say that's absolutely correct? That is one. I thought that's the brand.
No,
well,
it's
they
the
make
fabric.
stuff out of bamboo.
Yes.
Yes.
Mate, that's
You
why we were
are
talking about
having a laugh.
It's
No,
made
but we are
of
now.
bamboo.
That bamboo, that, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can show you the scars, let's put it that way. That's a proper bamboo, as in bamboo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very fast growing, so it's quite a good material to use because it's...
Is it that sort of fudgy bit in the middle?
I think so. And they probably spin it into
It all
some
comes from
yarn.
the plant.
I'm
yeah,
not an expert.
like the cotton.
Oh, go to the foot of our stairs.
You don't have to do that. You can
No,
stay on the radio.
don't go
I
that far.
never knew that.
Really?
Right, okay.
Well, that's exactly what Prisoner 312 has suggested.
No, they're spot on.
They say, please, can you clear this matter up once and for all to prevent him from labouring under this misconception into his, as per the Japanese tradition, glorious new phase of life. I hope Frank enjoys his new socks and discovers that this fabric, far from being coarse and scratchy, is as stretchy as lycra, as soft as cotton and as smooth as silk.
He's after free socks now.
I think
Yeah.
so, yeah.
He's
I mean, that's
she.
quite OTT.
Yeah, innit? Maybe they work in the bamboo industry.
What, for BAM?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Or other...
Of course, after BAM didn't send me any socks, I might have done a bamboo.
Yeah.
You get me? In that I booed BAM.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
no, that's
Got you.
lovely.
Got you.
And I picked my way through that. It got ruder. It sounded ruder as it went on.
Frank and Alan, I have a question for you regarding what's her name with the Jacob Marley necklace.
Theresa May,
Yes.
thanks for the tip.
When she gave the gift of the DVD, which we've already established we thought was a gift that was somewhat lacking in so many areas. However,
She might have bought it in the airport.
Yes, it's very
I
airport.
wonder if they forgot and just grabbed it in the airport.
Did you get that in a
on the way
Jeffrey
out.
Archer novel?
And a suitcase.
Yeah.
But one of those novels that's only just out, but it's in paperback, so you can take it on a plane. You know
Yeah.
those ones. Airport
I'm
edition.
going airport novel. She got the second in command. Did you read what the second in command got? The Chinese second in command?
No.
A chess set.
Better,
From
I'd
the
say.
British Museum.
Whoa,
That is a great gift.
Not based on the Lewis Chessman.
I don't know any details at this point.
Oh, okay.
Good knowledge.
However, I think that is an infinitely superior gift. If someone were to give
Massively
you
better.
a Blue Planet DVD and myself or Alan a British Museum chess set, I think you'd be a little piqued.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah, definitely. But I
Yeah.
think they were trying to. It's probably a plastic chess set.
Okay.
Oh, do you think?
Oh, man, the poor fish. Yeah, now the Lewis Chessmen, I've held a few Lewis Chessmen.
So I've heard.
Have you?
I was allowed at the British Museum. But it's a chess set that was found buried. And
Really?
it's brilliant. Brilliant figures on it. And I was odd when I first saw it. I was haunted by it. And
What condition are the queens in?
they're still in
Intact?
great shape. Yeah.
Very Emily asking about the Queens, not the
I
Pope.
know, exactly. Yeah, it's all right when they do it.
Very interesting snapshot into the
My favourite
personality
move.
of Emily
My
Dean
favourite
there.
move.
But
the
anyway,
Queen.
then I realised there was a kids program I loved called Noggin the Nog, and Noggin the Nog, the characters were based on the Lewis Chessmen, so it had sort of triggered some deep
okay.
memory
Oh.
in me. I know you're fascinated, but we've got to have other stuff.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
Where does Melania Trump stand on the plastic thing? Do you think?
Oh, what, in the terms of the
I
recycling?
think
Yeah.
her and Donald must contain a fair amount of plastic between them.
Well, he
Yes.
has 11 Diet Cokes a day, I believe, doesn't he?
Well, I was
Does he
thinking,
really?
Yeah, all sorts of other.
Yes.
If Melania fell in the ocean, surely several seabirds would have their habitat destroyed.
Yeah, you think she'd float?
If anyone tuned in then just heard habitat destroyed, they'll think that's the news coming in that Habitat, the
It'll be
popular
Clinton's
furniture shop.
cards all over again.
Oh, I hope not.
Yes.
I
Frank
hope
Daz has been in touch to say, "Hi, Team Frank. Aren't DVDs set to regions? That woman's DVD gift won't play in China."
Oh, unless she'd deliberately got a region-free one.
She
yeah.
might have been, but that's a fair part. Oh, what about if they're UK region? They can't even play them.
Put it on, will not play.
Oh,
It's
no.
already a
That's
rubbish
always
gift, even if it does
disappointing.
play.
It's getting worse. It's
It
a
is
gift.
getting
It's
worse.
the gift that keeps on taking.
490 has texted, is the Chinese number 2 called the second 11?
That's brilliant. Can I say that's brilliant?
Strong work. 740, who I think may well be Ian Angle, has texted, was the chess set a gift from Checkers?
Ah,
Also very good.
I get it. Yeah.
And we've had some emails during the week
Yeah.
regarding things that we've been discussing. Last week, was it last week we were discussing things that
Oh, don't ask me stuff like that.
Yeah.
My age.
people say, oh, you know, Big Mo is Gary Oldman's sister. You know, they
Yes.
say it, and
Oh,
then
yes.
sometimes it doesn't turn out to be a fact. It's a fact people tell you as if it's a fact, and that
And
you
it's
should know
not.
it.
Oh, that's what we're on about, and then
Yes.
it isn't. So there
And then
was
I
one-
remembered after the show Phil Collins. Do you
Oh,
remember
yes.
that? Phil Collins and Something in the Air Tonight. There was it was, you know, people thought it was fairly established, but it was rubbish, it turned out, because he has said it was rubbish, but it was to do with...
Does that make it rubbish? I wonder.
Okay.
What, the
8, 12,
song is
15.
rubbish?
Now, the idea... There was a rumour, wasn't there, Phil
Yeah.
Collins had watched someone drowning someone.
Oh, really?
It's a reference, a line in the song is, "If I saw you drowning, I wouldn't lend a hand." And apparently during a concert, he shone the light on the man in the audience and pointed at him whilst he sung that line.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
But he didn't.
No.
Reminds me of when I saw Shirley Bassey and they shone a light on Danny LaRue in
Oh,
the
yeah.
audience.
Did they?
He stood up and took a bow.
Well,
Yeah.
Richard Nagel has emailed saying surely it should be called a Big Mo No or Big No Mo.
Big no-mo, yeah.
Yeah.
And let's get this right. It's a fact that
People tell you.
everyone
You're
tells,
right.
think everyone knows, but it's wrong. I think my
Yes.
example was that Walt Disney had been cryogenically frozen,
Yes.
Yes.
which he...
That's a good example.
Yeah.
So that would be a big no.
It's
Yeah.
a big mono.
Yeah.
Or a big no-mo.
Yeah, what do we like best?
Big
I think no-mo is better because it feels like it's going to be no-no. And
8,
then at
12,
the last
15.
minute, it pulls the rug from under you.
8,
Yes,
12,
I
15.
like
Let's
the
let the
rug
people
pulling.
decide.
I think no.
I bet it'll be 52, 48.
I'm
That's
not
what-
taking. I'm not taking 50 pence off somebody for
Oh,
that.
okay. Fair enough.
No,
I
but
forgot
we
about
wanna-
the
It's
fee.
we
not,
all
it's not
know-
red or black with Ant and Dec.
No.
It's not the people have spoken.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like Brexit all over again.
Yeah.
And also, we've had Gary Marsden who emailed saying the Stan Laurel / Clint Eastwood one is good.
Goes on day after day.
What's that?
Oh, it's Jerry Marsden.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The
what was-
Stan Laurel / Clint Eastwood one is good.
Oh yes.
That is a very common one.
That was a-
people
yeah,
What's
do.
it?
that-
I don't know what is. Explain, please.
It was a story that Stan Laurel is Clint Eastwood's dad.
Really?
Yeah.
No. Actually,
Big Mono.
don't these stories have another name, which is urban myth?
Yes.
Well, yeah.
I think we might be. This is a bit like somebody currently discovering America. It was quite complicated because how the Big Mo was about people think that no one knows these facts, and then but everyone does.
Yes.
Oh, it's too. I'm getting a headache. I've got just a small trail of blood come out of my nose. Oh, that was a nightmare, Link, looking back. If only Anne Robinson was here to officially designate it the weakest link.
Looking back already.
Yeah, it is so. We're talking about urban myths, aren't we? As if they've just been...
Yeah. Essentially, we are.
No, we're talking about
Really?
urban myths that people tell you as though they're facts, and
But
you
isn't
don't
that
know
the
them.
definition of an urban myth that people think it's fact?
But they're telling you them as if you don't know
I'll tell you
them.
what,
It's not
I'll
quite as
spare them.
simple
We'll have
as
this
that.
conversation off air. I mean, I think it's only fair. And when we think of something interesting, we'll come back.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Dear all, wasn't chess invented in China? So isn't giving the Chinese a chess set a bit like those people in The Apprentice taking cash and carry cheese to France, asking for a friend?
Well, that is actually a big no-mo.
Is it?
As far as I'm aware, I believe chess was actually invented in India. And I think that is a common misconception that it was invented in China. I haven't Googled, so I'm not 100, but I'm confident. I'm quietly confident that I'm correct here. I think there's no doubt they're chess powers.
They are.
Yeah.
Yep. They're
But,
good at it.
They didn't invent the thing.
No.
Really, that's...
But I'm glad, even though you were
Paper.
incorrect, 900.
You're not telling me they didn't invent paper.
No, I'm not telling you that.
Okay.
Even though you were somewhat incorrect, 900, I'm glad you brought up the subject of games, because I would
yeah.
like to discuss Monopoly this morning. They're releasing a new version of the game,
Mel Gibson was very good in the original.
In Monopoly.
Monopoly.
Oh, that was Gallipoli. Sorry, everyone. Can we do that again, Steve? We can't. Okay. Carry on.
And it's a cheaters version. It's cheaters edition.
Well, Frank doesn't like it. I
So-
can tell from that groan.
Well, reserve
He
judgment.
doesn't
Let me
like
just tell
it.
you what happens in this.
Okay.
You can, but I don't think he'll be won over.
Well, you say that, but there are handcuffs.
Okay.
Oh, he's
Okay.
back. He might be back.
Are you back in the room?
I'm listening.
Oh, I love it when you listen. And so apparently it'll be inbuilt into the game ways for you to cheat.
Mm-hmm.
For example, you can steal hotels, shortchange people, steal
hotel?
from the bank.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all got a bit of trouble.
There's going to be no banker, so there will be the chance for players of the game to steal.
Okay, yeah. You don't sound very
Heavy
happy
sigh
about
from
this.
Frank. He's not happy.
I have
don't
a
think he-
basic problem with Monopoly in its normal form.
Yeah. Which
I
is-
always find that people who tell me they've been playing Monopoly do it in a way that I'll think they're interested and wacky because they've been playing Monopoly.
Right.
What do you mean? How would they tell you? What they just
It's
say?
a very... Yes, it's very much sort of capitalism for socialists. You know what I mean? The people who play I know are men with no socks on.
Right.
Okay.
I would. It's a very Remain voter kind of a game.
It started out as a left-wing political
Yeah,
game.
well, yeah. And now it's played sort of ironically by people with beards, and that I find that. Don't get me wrong, I'm a Remain voter myself, but I don't want to, don't want to be all of it. All it entails.
Right.
And people say, oh, yeah, we're at my house and Giles bought Monopoly. Oh, did he? And now the cheaters thing is going to be an extra level of wackiness. And we got those cheaters and the thing.
And the handcuffs.
Yeah, well.
Every cloud.
Yeah, exactly. I don't like the way they hijacked interesting ideas from other communities. Also, I've never cheated at any game in my life.
No, I can imagine you haven't.
Well, I mean, what's the point of playing a game if you're going to cheat at it? Come on.
Right. I think I used to steal money from it when I played my brothers, but I was young then. Yeah.
I can never master the art of Monopoly. I just think I got frightened. I balked at hotels.
Right.
I didn't like that side of it.
It's long, innit? It's really long. I mean, nowadays, who's got that much free time?
Giles. He loves
When
it.
people tell me they've watched a film, I stand there going, what?
I know.
You've watched the whole film?
What about 9 episodes of Britannia?
Well, episodic, I think, is somehow more easy.
Yes, you can go in and out of it.
You can't play Monopoly just for half an hour at a time. It's a commitment.
But that's what I don't think I've ever completed a game of Monopoly in my life.
No. I lose on purpose because I can't be bothered. I genuinely do. 824, Nomo is turning into 2018's Ballet Link. There you go. Confirmation for Claire from Barnhurst.
Yeah, we won't be discussing that. No, Mo. Is that all right? Can I do that? Is that acceptable? Where's the A5 sheet?
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
One thing I discovered about Monopoly, which I didn't know, is the boot, wheelbarrow,
yes,
and the thimble were all sacked last year.
Oh, yeah.
Is that right?
And replaced by the rubber duck, the penguin, and the T-Rex.
Right. Should have replaced it with
random.
Should have replaced it with a lie detector test, really, from what I can gather. There's so much cheating going on.
Yeah,
I never went for any of those pieces anyway. I always went for the dog.
I always thought the boot was probably the most memorable. Amazing, the boot.
Sort of Charlie Chaplin boot.
Working class
given the boot.
What piece did you go for, Al, when you played?
I often went boot.
Did you?
Yeah,
Yes, I can see you with boot.
I think I would go boot.
Bits of the kitchen sink drama.
Yeah.
What would you, if you could have any choice at all for a pewter move thing, counter, token?
Symbol.
Okay.
I'm thinking owl pellet.
L pellet?
Owl.
Owl.
That's how he says
No,
owl.
an owl pellet.
I thought you said L plate,
It's
like a learner driver.
It's that things that comes out their mouth, isn't it, rather than out of their behinds.
Okay.
Oh.
Do you know, they sort of go, and a big thing comes out with like bits of animal, suitable for framing, actually. Often a bit of skeleton
Lovely.
in there and stuff.
Never seen this.
Never seen it?
Never seen it.
I'd suggest you go to YouTube and have a look at, or to YouTube. And,
to YouTube.
and
Google owl pellet.
Google owl pellet. You never
It's
know
quite
what.
specialist interest, the
It
owl
is.
material.
Yeah.
Also, I wouldn't mind a little cheese knife.
A cheese knife sounds good.
That would be useful as well.
Well, it'd be very tiny, though. I mean,
Yeah.
even for a dairy
Yeah.
bee.
Yeah, but on your regime,
I'm surprised
it would help you stick to small portions.
I think Monopoly takes that long. I'd quite like a little metallised banana to see if I can have the energy to get through a whole game.
Well,
that would work.
It's amazing. Do you think forks are sort of threatened by the cheese knife as a phenomenon?
Yes.
It's never really caught on, the idea of a fork on the end of it. I mean, I've got like a spork and stuff.
Yeah.
at home.
Yes.
But that was, I mean, this is not like a novelty item. The cheese knife is quite common,
It's
isn't it?
established.
And it is a knife and fork all in one go.
It is, I suppose, yeah.
There you go.
We've had an email that says
Thank God.
it's titled Descartes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I didn't want to read this, El, so I'm delighted
I'm
you
happy
have.
to read it. Every so often, Frank and Emily will mock the cockerel for his Descartes moment. You say every so often, I'd say fortnightly.
We call it mackerel.
I've listened back to the podcast and I'm afraid it is so much worse than you remembered.
Oh.
He pronounced it Descartes. Awful. Thought you ought to know.
You never
that
did,
is worse
did
than
you?
I thought.
Descartes.
Can't remember
That's
that.
much worse than I remember.
That does sound
Gives
bad.
us as a whole. It's like we've updated that. We can just start again. Wow, I think we've fixed some bugs and we've made it possible to download straight onto Facebook
Yeah.
with that update.
Yeah.
Descartes, I mean, it sounds a bit like a very highbrow form of striptease.
Yeah. I like that Ed's one-word review, awful.
Well, David Baddiel sent in last week, just after the show ended, to say that I'd said minutiae instead of
He did,
minutiae.
yeah.
So that I wasn't faultless.
He did say, yes, he said, Frank once talking to me pronounced minutiae as minute. Not
Yeah.
Descartes, but not bad.
I remember he gave me...
He says it's funnier in a black country
He
accent.
mocked me so much about it, I became emotional about it.
Oh, did you?
no.
Yeah, I became angry and
Oh, no.
I felt terrible sort of class oppression
Yeah.
going on. Oh,
Lash
I
out.
reacted very badly.
Oh, dear.
Well, you know, it's all water under the bridge now.
Yeah.
Ow, anyway.
Well enough even talking about it.
I can't. Thank you very much for listening this week. I must say, you'd have lost me towards the end.
Why? Don't put yourself down. Yes,
I know, I'm
yourself.
putting us all down.
Oh, great.
Anyway,
Fair.
but you know, if you got through it, congrats. And we'll be back next week. If the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Now, get out.
You're listening to the Frank Skinner podcast from Absolute Radio. Want your Frank fix a little sooner? Listen live every Saturday from 8 a.m. on Absolute Radio. Across the UK on digital radio, mobile apps, and in London and the South East on 105.8 FM.
Absolute Radio.